the first week of our hiatus. Woo! Sarah and I really needed this, but we also know that you need something to keep you entertained while we're off in Story Siren Wonderland.
Ah, yes, the Wonderland where the trials never end.
No.
All right, so today's special episode was recorded way back in the very beginning of Story Sirens and was supposed to be our second episode. However, due to chaos, confusion, and some very bad fairies, the episode was never published. But you get to hear it today.
Woo, yay for you and us, because we remembered that we had this. So, yeah.
So enjoy, and Story Sirens will be back with brand new episodes June 5th.
All right, we are officially recording. Welcome, everybody, to
Story Sirens! I'm Sarah.
And I'm Yenny.
Here at Story Sirens, we do deep dives into our favorite myths, legends, and fairy tales, some of which you may find in your favorite books, movies, and more.
Yes, and today it's my turn to take the helm, and we're continuing our Celtic folklore and ACOTAR vibes with the one, the only, drumroll please, the Morrigan.
Oh, I'm so excited. Mor is one of my favorite ACOTAR characters.
She's so gorgeous. Like, the way that Sarah J. Maas just talks about her, she's gorgeous.
Exactly.
Get ready, y'all. Our girl Mor has a lot of history. Too much, in my opinion, to try and squeeze into a podcast that we're trying to keep under an hour. So, quick disclaimer. Today we are attempting to say Irish names, and it may or may not completely be butchered. So be nice to us. Also, I woke up sounding like this, and I'm so sorry. Last week was a cough. This week it's my voice. I don't know what's going on.
It's like we have Fae of the Week, and now we have Ailment of the Week.
There you go. Ailments of the week. This is it. But hopefully it won't be too bad. We'll try to be good. So let's get into our main girl here, Mor. So we know she is always mentioned as the Morrigan, but for this time we're going to be sticking to Morgan or Mor for short. Now, while I did mention that we're sticking to Celtic folklore vibes, it's important to note that Mor is actually unique to Irish mythology. Morrigan has been linked with Celtic. Oh, I said Celtic. Dang it.
It's okay. We can edit that out.
We shouldn't edit it out so that they can know that I said Celtic and you taught me that it is Celtic.
Well, seeing as how this is not the sports team, this is Celtic.
Go Celtics. All right. So Morrigan has been linked with Celtic folklore due to similarities found in stories of other heroic maidens, which we're going to go ahead and discuss a little bit later on in this episode. So for the purpose of this deep dive, we are going to be focusing more on all of the Irish tales of our darling Mor.
Cool.
So, Morgan is known as the goddess of war, death, and fate, but she is also known as the goddess of fertility.
Okay, hold on. Let me just pause real quick, because
Yes.
I do think it's important to note that fertility in this sense is not referencing like human reproduction or childbearing or anything. In Irish mythology, at least in this story, it's more of a representation of the earth itself, the fullness of the land, and the harshness of nature, which I think is way cool.
Yeah, it's so cool compared to just like, and babies. She makes them babies. So she was also a oh my God.
How you doing there, Squeaky?
Oh my God, I'm a squeaker. She was also a shapeshifter, so you would know the Morrigan was around if you spotted a raven circling a battlefield, which was also taken as an omen of you gon' die.
Double ooh.
Double ooh. Not only was she a beautiful goddess who was able to seduce powerful men, but she was also able to offer prophecies and favor to heroes and gods alike. Another main characteristic of her is her tripartite nature, 3 goddesses in one. Sometimes these goddesses, by the way, act independently, and they're described as like sisters or individuals, but they still fall under the same name of the Morrigan. Other times, these three are described as aspects of a single goddess.
So this isn't the same thing as like our modern interpretation of maiden, mother, crone. The Morrigan kind of predates that. The three natures of the Morrigan are actually distinct identities. And there's a lot of debate regarding which specific goddesses consist of the Morrigan. But some of the identities include Bibe or Bave, Niven, Maha, Danu, and others. And then she's still also referred to as a singular entity. So, I mean, it's just very complex, also very cool.
She complex. Yeah. She complex and cool. That's going to be the motto today. Complex and cool.
I dig it.
Additionally, just to put it out there, her shriek, capable of killing someone just by hearing it, just like my squeaky voice right now, was linked to a terrible omen of misfortune to come.
Oh no. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
The Morrigan would also reveal herself to men as the Washer. See, we're leaning into this whole shape-shifting thing. Mm-hmm. The Washer was a woman, young in some stories, old in others, who could be found washing bloody clothing in lakes and rivers. When men would approach her, they would see that the bloody clothing was actually theirs. And this is how she would reveal to men that they would soon die in battle. No wonder I hate doing laundry.
I mean, I feel like this is so... And now I wonder, do you think that the laundry... Like, you know when it finishes that it does a little song? Do you imagine that was, like, more singing back in the day? Like, ding, 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 ding. You know, like you're about to die.
The little dryer.
La, 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 la.
Come get your clothes out of the wash before they're mildewy.
Yeah, oh, God. I hate it, too, because then you forget
to
put them in the dryer, and then you have to rewash them because you know they smell.
You're doomed. Don't doom your clothing.
Don't doom the clothing. Anyways, I feel like we could do another podcast on just laundry, but we're going to continue.
Laundry and myths and legends.
The woe. So, Morrigan first appears in the Ulster cycle, which is one of the 4 collections of Irish mythology. And if you're curious, I did some sleuthing, and there's 4 collections. There's mythological, Ulster, Fenian, and King cycles. The Ulster cycle, also known as the Eulade, focuses on the tales of the deeds of the royal court of Avan Vaca, which were located in Northern Ireland.
Also, the Ulster cycle is the second oldest of the 4 cycles, and it's also referred to as the war cycle. And most scholars believe that it generally takes place in the 1st century.
Oh, look at that. Also, anybody listening and is like, oh my God, Sarah is just so like, she has so much knowledge of this. Yeah. Sarah is a book of knowledge, a library of knowledge.
It's because I'm a nerd.
And I am forever like obsessed and also like in awe of everything. I showed her my Morrigan essay and she was like, okay, baby, let me spread those wings further.
Well, it's just one of those things of, listen, this is a complicated myth to unravel from like everyone else's myth.
Yes.
And seeing as how I'm like, ooh, research? Let me do the research. I'm just here to help. You're doing great. I'm learning so much.
You're so great at research. I mean, I feel like this goes back to our last podcast where it's like, I went to school. I was in advanced courses, whatever that means. but there was, I only went to advanced.
Hey.
I was like, advanced.
You're brilliant, and I appreciate you for all of your brilliance.
I appreciate you.
We cover different areas of brilliance.
There you go. Ask me anything about... Oh, shit. Ask me about Pokemon. I have ridiculous knowledge on Pokemon.
I didn't grow up with Pokemon. This is perfect.
There you go. Now I can tell you about all the evolutions.
Yes, Eevee's so cute. She's like the little kitten one, right?
With the kitten. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, oh my God, we're going on a tangent.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Back to the Ulster cycle.
Yeah. No, not the Pokemon cycle. Okay. my chair is creaking as I speak.
hate when that happens.
Yeah, it's one of these things. Look, do you hear it? It's like
Yep.
creaking. So, Moore's role in the Eulaid was notable as she assisted and later saw the end of the main hero in the cycle, which is Cuchulainn, during the cattle raid of Regamain. The story goes that Cuchulainn sees an older woman driving a heifer, which is a cow, from his territory and attacks her. I'm laughing because I was like, what is a heifer? And then it's a cow.
Yes, it is a cow who has not yet had a calf.
There you go. Also, amazing knowledge from my best
Only
friend.
because I'm from a ranching family.
So, only for the woman to gasp, turn into a raven, which makes Cuchulainn realize, shit, that was Morrigan. So, even though he tries to apologize, which he obviously fails, Moore punishes him with a prophecy. She will be present at his death. Talk about being super petty. This is Maleficent status.
I'm kind of digging
where,
this.
oh, you didn't invite me? Yeah, you didn't invite me to the party? I'm gonna put your daughter in, like, a sleep. You know?
Right.
Like, I don't know, like, there's too much. This was petty moment for me, but I'm all for it. So
I love it.
I'm okay with it. All right. So, during an invasion in the north by Queen Maeve of Connacht, all the men who were in Ulster, except for Cuchulainn, were inflicted with a terrible curse. I tried to see what terrible curse it was.
Yeah?
I couldn't find it. So if anybody has, like, an idea of it, you can comment what the terrible curse was.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. But Cuchulainn single-handedly defends Ulster's border, and Moore returns to him, but not as herself. Instead, as a young maiden offering to be his lover. So she's like, I know you attacked me, but...
Well, she's just like going up to him going, my hero. Because, I mean, if he just single-handedly defeated a whole army, that's pretty impressive. But, like,
That is.
Wait, isn't Morrigan married to Dagda? Like, the Irish deity of life, death, agriculture, the seasons, fertility, magic, so on and so forth. The list goes on and on. Girl's got high standards, as she should.
I mean, to be honest, maybe they're in an open relationship for all we know.
You know, she's
what I
a
mean?
goddess.
Like,
I would not be surprised.
I feel like that's, like, a really big thing, too. Like, a lot of gods, they're married, but, you know, they have they can do whatever they want.
They're trysts.
You know, yeah. So we learned that Morgan does not take rejection well.
He rejected her?
Yes, Cuchulainn was like, yeah, babe, sorry. It's all about war for me, not babes. And that's exactly how he spoke, by the way.
He was emotionally unavailable.
He was emotionally unavailable. So then Cuchulainn is attacked by various animals, to which he defends himself and injures them all.
Are these animals that, like, Moore sent after him? Or what are these animals?
Yes, and he rejects the young maiden, but doesn't know it's Moore. And then right after the rejection, he's then attacked by all of these animals. He didn't realize it and didn't think of her and was just like, oh, this is just some random girl. And then this is some random attack. That makes sense. So, obviously victorious and proud, Ku walks away barely unscathed and runs into an old woman who has injuries that, you know what? They kind of match the injuries he gave all those animals that attacked him. So the woman offers him milk from her heifer, which he accepts, and then blesses her, healing the old woman in the process.
The old woman who's actually Moore, so thereby she tricked him into healing her?
Yes, again.
Clever.
And then I'm like, Ku, can you, like, use context clues? Like, you literally had a woman in a heifer that you attacked, and then all of a sudden she turned into the Moor. Like, I feel like I would have been a little more traumatized and be like, whoa, woman with a heifer, let me be good to you.
Yes.
Which I think that's why he blesses her, but, like, as you read the story on the outside, you're like, all of the signs were there, buddy. They were all there. So at last, he heals the old woman, and Moore reveals herself, once again able to catfish the heck out of Cuchulainn.
Wow.
So she reminds him of his impending death and leaves. She's just like, you gonna die. Just remember that.
Wow.
So sometime later, during battle with Queen Maeve's warriors, Moore's prophecy comes to light, and Ku gets mortally wounded.
No.
Here's where it gets a bit graphic.
Ooh. And by graphic, we mean like rated M for violence.
Yes. So listeners, beware.
I asked Yenny if I could read this part.
Of course you did.
Vowing to die standing up, he tries to fool the opposing warriors and inspire his own warriors by using his own intestines to wrap himself to a stone to keep him standing and make them all believe he is still strong and alive.
Ah, yes. And this tactic worked, by the way. Great job.
Thank you.
Until Mor, in her raven form, comes cawing up, perches on top of Cuchulain's shoulder, and exposes the truth that he is dead. And boohoo by Ku. Oh, that rhymed. That was not scripted. Okay. So there are many more tales of the Morrigan. Mor has also been tied to banshees due to her ominous shrieks and her presence at the death of men. Mor also appears to be linked to the Valkyries of Norse legends, due to the Valkyries also appearing alone or in threes, with the abilities to prophesy and their association with birds.
They're all related. Additionally, there is and I'm so sorry if I mispronounce this, but there is the Panaya, which is a figure in Scottish myth who appears as a washerwoman found in rural places. They always wash the clothing of those who are about to die. So, again, another distant relation of the Morrigan?
I feel like you're also like got traumatized over washing clothes because of the Morrigan.
I did.
And I feel the same way.
I did.
I feel like now I have a load to do and I'm just like, no, like, oh my God.
I did laundry last night and it just about killed me.
Death by laundry, which smells very good. So the etymology of her name is highly debated. The name Morrigan, or Mor, has been connected to death and terror and phantom, and Regan derives from the Latin regina, meaning queen. So popular interpretations of her name include Great Queen or Phantom Queen.
Makes sense.
Mor is also related to the Anglo-Saxon word mare, which we still say is nightmare. If Mor was invoked during battle, it was to aid in victory. She would bring her enemies to their knees with a fear and make them anxious in battle, resulting in their demise, which is pretty dope.
That's way cool.
Yeah, right? I was like, this girl's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be her. Here's the crazy thing, too. Mor, now we're getting out of the Irish folklore. Okay. Mor is also somehow connected to Arthurian legend, which made me gasp, and I'm certain we will be deep diving into the Honorable King Arthur in a later episode.
Later episodes, plural, because that is another complicated myth.
Oh my gosh, for sure. I feel like if we think Mor is complicated because she's everywhere, I feel like Arthur, I mean, they don't do Netflix series of Arthur like every other year for no reason. I feel like there's always a documentary about King Arthur because there's just so much about him.
Yeah.
From like different places. It's crazy. So just to give you a taste of the Morrigan through Arthurian legend. Morrigan, or better known as Morgan Le Fay in Arthurian legend, is a witch who helps heal King Arthur and is also known for her shape-shifting abilities. But here's where things were a bit murky. In Geoffrey of Monmouth's Vita Mellini, Morgan is a fairy enchantress. Yet, in Christian de Troyes' Romance of Eric, she is actually Arthur's sister.
What?
So, what? Like, what? Did she just, like, from the first century, I don't know, decide, like, this guy looks cool, I'm gonna be his sister. Like, I don't know how that came out. I don't know how this happened because I'm assuming that she's a goddess, so she is eternal. But in Arthurian legend, they kind of link them together because of so much side-by-side comparisons of Mor and the Morrigan. So now in the 13th century text, things kind of cleared up a bit more, and I say kind of because, I mean, Arthurian legend is a myth, so we don't know if it's real. But Morrigan is said to have learned her powers from Merlin.
Ooh.
And goes on to be the healer who aids King Arthur on the island of Avalon after his final battle. Which, just, putting it out there also, Morgan, because it's not the Morgan, Morgan, yeah, she's the ruler of said island. So again, it's just, there's a lot. No matter, what story she's written to, though, I will say she's a full-on badass.
Oh, she's a total badass. A complicated badass.
Yes.
And interconnected to everything, but
Absolutely.
a total badass.
Completely. And she can be feared, but also beloved by all those willing to learn about her. That's for sure.
Well, and for a deity representing the full cycle of life, women bringing life into the world and then taking it away, I feel like there's a lot to learn, and we've just kind of scratched the surface.
Oh, for sure. I'm super proud of us too, because we're still under the 30-minute mark. I don't know how we did it.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe it's because my voice is cracking and I was just steamrolling through this to try to not sound like a squeaky McSqueaker. But yeah, Sarah, what did you think about this? What are your thoughts on the lovely and very deadly, ominous creature, beauty, and grace that is Moore?
Well, I always knew I loved Moore in Sarah J. Maas's books, but now I guess we could say that I love her even more.
Oh, no. Oh, you made me smile. I'll say that. Yeah.
Good.
You know what? I'd rather us continue this and I'm just going to forget that you like Tamlin from...
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm just going to forget that you like Tamlin. And I'm going to be okay with you liking more because I love her. And really quick, I actually, since I'm rereading the books of ACOTAR, Sarah J. Maas kind of put some stuff about the Morrigan into ACOTAR.
Ooh.
Moore is... She says that she's the teller of all truths.
Mm-hmm.
She says, she kind of prophesizes a few things throughout the book, specifically in a scene in, I believe it's A Court in Mist and Fury. She paints 3 stick figures with very long hair and then the 3 Bat Boys. And at first pass, you think that she's talking about Feyre, her, and Amren, except for the fact that Amren has short hair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
And
right.
Morrigan has short hair, has long hair, but then who's this third one? And so it could be that she's prophesizing the 3 sisters with the 3 Bat Boys. So
Ooh, I like
something
that.
to think about.
Well,
there.
and isn't Moore in the books also, before Rhysand was overseeing the Court of Nightmares, wasn't that kind of Moore's and her family's responsibility?
Yes. And Nightmare.
Aha!
Oh, Sarah went there.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. So there's a lot of really cool things. I'm sure this is the tip of the iceberg on the Morrigan that we did, but we found this to be one of the coolest stories and the one that really kind of shows off who Moore is.
I think that was great. And listeners, if there's more we need to know about the Morrigan, that was actually unintentional, but here we are. But if there is additional knowledge that we need to know about her, feel free to let us know, because we know that she is an in-depth character, and man, we were doing our best.
We were doing our, oh my God, my voice.
Well,
we were doing our best.
Let me go ahead and take it from here, Yenny, so that you can rest those pipes, those money makers.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us on Story Sirens, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow us on Instagram at Story Sirens Podcast. Want to support us? Send us a cup of Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. All research materials can be found in the episode summary. Music by Donald Guzzi and artwork by Alexis Torres. Story Sirens is a Feather and Fin production. See you soon.